so empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Welcome to the AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ, Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have the glamorous Anjulie. What's going on, Anjulie?
I have so many emotions, maybe not particularly towards Money in the Bank, but emotions nonetheless. But glad to be here to recap another pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's been a big weekend for a bunch of shows as well as other things. A lot of stuff has been happening. Like Avengers Endgame, Game of Thrones ending. A lot of all our shows ending around this time because it's that time of the year where a lot of our shows end, but some end forever. So it's been a while. But WWE is always around, never ending, I guess. Then, now, forever. Completely original concept right there. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so before we get started, I want to welcome everyone to Season 3. This is Episode 1 of Season 3. As you guys know, our seasons go from the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania through WrestleMania. So this is the first episode of Season 3. And today we'll be covering Money in the Bank 2019. It's a little bit different because usually it's always Backlash coming after WrestleMania, which is just basically WrestleMania rehash. It's pretty much the same matches, just having the other guy win, or if it's the same champion winning, maybe they continue their reign. But I like seeing a fresh new take because now it's like not the same rerun matches that we always see. But before we also get started, let me go say hi to the people in chat. We got Big Time Gaming and Slaterman. How you doing? You guys remember Slaterman joined us for the Season 2 AfterMat Awards. Thank you for doing that again, Slater. Man, thank you for that. So your thoughts, did you enjoy having a different pay-per-view as opposed to having Backlash or whatever and seeing difference in like fresh new idea and matches kind of thing?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's just instead of just like, like you said, run-of-the-mill return matches, we have matches with a little bit more I was gonna say gimmick to it, but stipulation, I guess is the word I'm looking for. More around the stipulation with that they could build a story off of either during those matches itself or after the pay-per-view. So it helps get you a little excited for when people in this case get the briefcase of what they're gonna do with it, or whether it be cashing in right away or waiting almost a year, or if they're gonna even get a chance to cash in because they just might lose it. Looking at you, Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I mean, like, Money in the Bank, like I always say, is one of my favorite pay-per-views besides Royal Rumble, because I really do enjoy the Royal Rumble. Rumble is such a fun time. And I always like Elimination Chamber as well. But those gimmick pay-per-views like Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber are the ones I enjoyed the most. And Money in the Bank of the gimmicks is probably my favorite, because having that anytime, anything attitude, anything can happen anytime, which we'll get to later a little bit, because there was an issue that I had throughout the entire night with refereeing and such. But yeah. Slater is saying that he misses Backlash. I don't know, because like Backlash, it's a cool name for pay-per-view, but I feel like it's all the same matches pretty much. If you go look through the history of Backlash, it's pretty much the same matches we've had from WrestleMania. It's just like an alternate outcome, unless, like I said, the champion usually stays champion. Very rarely, unless you're Sasha Banks, you lose the title that fast. But yeah, so I guess let's get started. And normally what we usually have is Delisha go through the pre-show, but she asked me to do it today, and you know how bad I am with pre-shows, especially with the people I love the most, Daniel Bryan. Go figure, pre-show I had to cover. Look at that too. Daniel Bryan went from pretty much the main event of WrestleMania, because the main event was obviously the women's triple threat match. However, they always proclaim like co-main event or triple main event. You know how they always have been doing that kind of gimmick that they've had forever. So one of the main events is for the WWE Championship. That was Daniel Bryan against Kofi Kingston, right? So seeing him one pay-per-view off of that, now being on the pre-show, that is pretty nuts, especially because it's a championship match. Normally, this is where you see the cruiserweights.
It wasn't a championship match though.
No, I'm saying I mean involved. Sorry, I was going to say involving champions. Usually the champions are on the main card. So yeah, going into it, I thought when I saw the match happen, I'm like, oh, it's a championship match going into it, and Eric Rowan was powerful, throughout. Daniel Bryan was barely in the ring. He came in the ring in the beginning, I think, and then when he was tagged in at the end of the match. Other than that, it was pretty Rowan in the match for the most part, and Usos, I don't ever know which was which. I think one of them did take off their shirt this time to distinguish who was who, but I still didn't know who was who. And they were dominating pretty much the entire match. What?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, they were did their normal stick with did that suicide dive to the outside and all that kind of stuff, the double suicide dive and all that stuff, super kicks galore. Rowan looked powerful throughout most of the match until he got taken out to the outside, and then Daniel Bryan lost some momentum as well at the end, because I think Rowan set up a power move, then tagged Daniel Bryan in, but then Daniel Bryan lost it from there because they got double teamed. Rowan went for to break up the pin, and I think he got thrown to the outside, then taken out on the outside, and then the Usos went for the double splash from either corner and got the 1-2-3 pin. And I'm like, hey, wait, why aren't they champions anymore? And I kind of remembered, I think the Usos are now on Raw, if I'm correct. They're on Raw. That's why. Then I'm like, oh, that's why it probably wasn't a tag team match for the championships, because the Usos ended up winning it, and but Rowan and Bryan are still your tag team champions, which I don't mind, because I like seeing the Wyatt family or whatever it is, because I love seeing the Wyatt family. And then when they added Daniel Bryan through it, I thought it was kind of stupid, but at least it gave him something to do, because I wasn't a fan of his. But put him with a stable that I like is not that bad. So there's your winners, the Usos, but they are not the new tag team champions, because the titles were not on the line. Any thoughts on this match, Alicia, before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird because I'm giving myself a little bit to rant here. We just had the Superstar Shakedown like a few weeks ago, and we thought we were all done and settled, even though the week after we're still doing shakeups. You're just going to hear about it on the show, it's whatever. And then, not even a week after that, we get Vince McMahon with some stupid wild card rule that allows him to put 4 superstars from each brand to go back and forth to their randomly selected and qualified, which we all know this means they wanted to be able to put superstars back and forth between Fox and USA once that time comes. And it's like, this is what gets frustrating with WWE, because there's hardly ever any continuity and like a fluid storyline that we can just latch onto. I mean, granted, I love the Usos, and I kind of wish they weren't removed from SmackDown, as if people who watch Raw know that they just get butchered on there doing stupid, crazy antics that make no damn sense. But yeah, There was nothing for me to care about this match because they might get a title shot later on in some time, but it's like they shouldn't because they're on Raw. They should be going after the Raw tag team titles, not SmackDown. Continuity, people, fluidness. But the match was good.
Yeah, the match was not bad. Yeah, Big Time was just a surprise. The Usos are not the tag champs, and no, they're not because they are Raw and this was for the SmackDown. Brad and them are the SmackDown. Another thing I was saying is that this is kind of off the topic to go with the pre-show kind of thing. Before it was happening, I had a pretty busy weekend. I had like all family stuff, so I was just relaxing, and I didn't want to do anything like too crazy. So I started watching some of the WWE Network stuff, and I watched the Worlds Collide thing, and there's the men's battle royal and the women's battle royal, and I thought, that's why I get to learn some new superstars because I never know any of the superstars from NXT, and now that next year we're gonna have the award for the next gen superstar, I gotta start learning about all these new characters. And I saw there's 2 new Indian guys coming up on the thing. There's like an Indian tag. I don't know if they're really Indian, but they're come out as an Indian tag team, like 2 brothers or whatever they're supposed to be. So this Indian stable is happening, guys. I'm gonna be there on Raw one day, being the mouthpiece of the stable. It's gonna be thanks to Big Time. Championship wrestling and all that, because he does have that Indian. He has me as the Indian guy in that too, as myself, I guess. But it's just funny. But yeah, he has some stuff to say about how he graded the night. But and Slater says this should just end the Superstar Shakeup. I mean, I don't mind the Superstar Shakeup against fresh new matches because they are mixing the brands, but like I like having I guess they can end it because what's the point? Like now that the pay-per-views are mixed again, I like having for our sake. We get more rest between pay-per-views now, but like I like having people getting more time because they have their own brand. Now you're not going to see some people because they're going to be buried underneath all the championships that are. And now they're adding a new championship. That's going to be another hour on the card, right? If you think about it. So like, and the whole thing of the new championship, I think it's going to be the Hardcore Championship because Mick Foley's going to announce it. But who knows? They said Big Time saying it's not PG, but I'm like I think they're getting rid of the PG era. I think. From what I've heard, even if it's not that, maybe something that can be defended anytime, anywhere, kind of similar to the hardcore title, but not called the hardcore title. Who knows what it'll be? But they can't have blood, I guess. It'll be something where anytime, anywhere championship match. Who knows what they'll do with it? But or Legends title. But then they actually gotta get Legends to come back and fight like a good match, which I don't see happening. And basically they'll have Triple H hold it or like Shawn Michaels or somebody hold it. I don't know who it will be, but yeah, so that's pretty much it for the pre-show. That's like probably the most we've ever European or TV title. Yeah, possibly. That's kind of like the most we ever spent on a pre-show match. There wasn't anything wrong about the pre-show match either. The first match of the evening, which Delicia's going to cover, is the Women Money in the Bank, which featured Ember Moon. I was going to say Alundra Blaze. That's not Alundra Blaze. I'm thinking of Legends. Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Nikki Cox, I think is her name. Lindsay Cross. Nikki Cox is the actress. Nikki Cross, who was taking the place of Alexa Bliss, an injured Alexa Bliss. Bailey, who I didn't know who's in this matchup. Natalya, Naomi, and Carmella. And as you guys know, if you guys know familiar with the Money in the Bank, a briefcase is suspended from the ceiling. It's basically a ladder match. First person gets the briefcase wins the match, and it contains a contract for a title shot anytime of your choosing. So take it away, Delicia.
Yeah, so we started off the bat with Naomi's outfit. I just wanted to throw that in there that I really love. That I knew she was doing an homage or something, but I couldn't remember what it was. And I looked it up, and it was Karen Beecher. I think her name. That's how you say her last name. From I think it's Teen Titans, maybe. But she was doing an homage to that, and I thought that was just pretty cool. So I just wanted to get that out there. But we actually start the match with actually Nikki Cross getting automatically just going for the ladder already, but not to climb up the ladder to get the briefcase yet. She used it and she put it over her head and used it like as a helicopter what are they called?
Propeller.
Yeah, propellers to knock everyone out. Although I know we kind of give the women flack a lot for like botches, but it was just so funny that she went for I think it was Mandy the first time, and it like barely grazed her, and she just flopping out over the ring. I just thought that was funny. That was just obviously you don't really want to get hit hard with the ladder, but you.
She also missed Bailey, and Bailey had to walk into it for the second time.
I just thought that was funny because you still want to try to be safe, but still create some chaos with that. And then probably one of the more cool spots right after that was Naomi, who ran up the top of 2 elevated ladders to slide over another one, and then after I don't remember who was holding them, but to avoid being like sandwiched between two, because I think two other people had started grabbing them, she does a split, and then they like knock like bumper cars knocking into each other. I thought that was just really pretty cool because, as we all know, Naomi's one of the most athletically gifted women on the roster, even though she doesn't always get the chance to showcase that, except for at Royal Rumble. But and then and then I think at this point we see Carmella get taken out of the match. I can't remember quite how. It's something to do with her leg.
Yeah, her knee. I think when she came down, she injured her knee.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's legit or not.
Yeah, right.
People are saying like some of it was super cringy and uninspiring, terrible spots. It's hilarious.
Really?
It's unfortunate.
Wow.
But I said like I remember texting you right when it happened. Like, wow, Naomi is actually looking super. Like we always like complain about when they put too many of the women. Even in the men's match, there was. Don't get me wrong, the men's match too. There were some botches I watched. I'm like, oh wow, they actually botched those spots too. But we always give the women flack for like the botches because they have more than two in the match or something. So there's always botch central.
Yeah.
But like Naomi was super clean. I was watching her; she was doing complicated stuff, and she was super clean. And I remember texting you like, "Wow, Naomi's looking really clean with her moves tonight because like she's doing tough moves and she's clean." So
yeah, like that's what I noticed within the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the match. That thing it wasn't as botchy as before, but I feel like because they're now getting the opportunity to do more stipulation matches like ladder matches, hell in a cell matches, table matches, that the more and more they get the opportunity to do it, the more crisper it'll get because they'll get used to it. And speaking of which, we after like all that happened, later on we see Bayley, who I think she was trying to climb up the ring, dragged down, and she gets sandwiched between the two ladders. I think it was Natalia and Mandy, I think, and they just like smushed her in between the ladders like 3 times, which I thought. I mean, I know it's spots that we've seen before, but it's cool to see the women get to do it. And then we see Naomi excuse me, place top of a ladder and then hit some sort of like split-legged moonsault, I think, onto Nikki. No, it wasn't on Nikki because she did a move right after that. I think it might have been on some Mandy. And then, because then after that, Nikki Cross comes in and spears Natalia. And then Ramon hits like I'm going to call it a code breaker, although I don't know the actual wrestling move. But it was basically, in all essence, the code breaker onto Naomi to take her out for a bit. And then Nikki Cross goes on for her neck breaker move, also in Naomi, because I guess they saw Naomi as the biggest threat, so they can get her sidelined. And then Brooke put a ladder onto Cross. Excuse me. And then I think as Dana Brooke was going to go up for the briefcase for herself, Mandy Rose comes up and they're tussling for it. And then Dana is like hanging from the briefcase, dangling across the ring, almost kind of like Jeff Hardy back in the day before Edge speared him off of. But we didn't get that here. That might have been too dangerous for them at this time. And then after that, we get Natalia. No, I believe it was Mandy, Dana, and maybe Nikki Cross and someone else. They're all 4 of them on the ladder trying to get to the briefcase before Natalia comes in and like topples them all off. Again, another spot that we're used to, but it was still cool looking. And then after she does that, Ember Moon goes on and hits her with the Eclipse from like a ladder, from the top of a ladder outside the ring into the ring. So take out Natalia for a little bit. And then after that, Moon's trying to go up for climb the ladder, but then Mandy Rose comes in to I think her move's called the fairy tale ending, I think, onto a ladder. So again, like you said, we're doing some really cool spots to where getting the crowd, as for doing a good job for the first match of the night, getting the crowd hyped up for the namesake Money in the Bank. And then after Mandy Rose gets her down, she's going up for I think she's about to climb up, or she's already on the match on the ladder. And then that's when Carmella re-enters the ring, hobbling down as fast as she can. So I think that's why people are saying they don't know if her injury was particularly real. They think it might have been at work, but sometimes you just never know these things until someone tells us what was what. She comes back, takes Carmella down, taking her out, but she couldn't get up fast enough because I think she gets taken down by Oh no, she knocks Mandy Rose off, and then she couldn't get up fast enough because then Sonya Deville comes up and pulls her off the ladder and then spears her back out of the ring. I think she also landed on her knee, not cleanly either.
Yeah.
And then we get a nice little fake out a little bit because we see Sonya Deville literally carrying her. What is that? Is that a fireman's carry?
Yeah, fireman's carry.
Up the ladder, which also showing how freaking strong she is, because carrying humans on the ground is not easy. Carrying them up ladders even harder. She's carrying out, trying to get her to go for the briefcase, but then you hear a pop from the crowd, so you know someone's about to come up. And lo and behold, it's Bayley. She gives them a nice stare down and then just pushes them off the ladder. And now Bayley is our 2019 Women's Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, I didn't even know Bayley was in the match. I picked Ember Moon. Had I known Bayley was in the match, I'm like, they're probably gonna give it to her because they want to push her. Probably. I had no idea she was in this match. But another thing is, why didn't Sonya Deville just climb up by herself, get the thing, and just give it to Mandy? They could have done that, right?
Because we did that already. Although it was
what does it matter now that there's no more rules anymore in this? Who cares? Like, they should have done that. But speaking of rules, we do have a new addition to the show. He fresh from coming from Money in the Bank because he was trying to go climb the ring, the ladder, and get the briefcase himself, but someone else beat him to it, which he'll be talking about a little bit later tonight. So he had to come home after that devastating loss to himself. We have the Road Raider himself, Mr. Tom Zambino. What's going on, Tom?
Hi, Cal. Yes, because there are no rules in these matches anymore, anyone can do anything. And for those questioning, watching below, I'm holding my microphone like a psychopath because I just took this out and I have no place to mount it right now.
And it's also a little bit quiet, too, just for your heads up.
You're a little bit quiet.
Am I really?
No, you're
not. I can see my voice thing going up, and it's, like, pretty high. Yeah, so any thoughts about this match before we move on, Tom?
It was fine. I really did think they were going to have Mandy win. I think I texted Delisha at least more than once that she's a Vince McMahon girl, so there was a good chance she was coming home with it. So interesting to see Bayley win. That was kind of the obvious choice, and so we'll see what happens after that.
All right, yeah. So they're saying that in the chat also they're saying it's quite low. So if you can give a few minutes to do that, yeah. So I mean, this is a good match for an opening match. I think like they didn't really botch as much as we thought they would, and like I said, Naomi looked really clean throughout. Am I happy with Bayley winning? Like I'm not a Bayley fan, but I guess that's what the universe wanted. I would probably rather have seen Ember Moon win or maybe Dana Brooke win. Even actually probably just them two, Ember Moon and I guess Mandy Rose has been getting a lot of heat lately too. That would be good for her. But those are the three people who haven't been champion yet, so I figured one of them could possibly get it. But I guess we'll see it in time.
Well, I had forgotten that Bayley was a champion. Like honestly, I couldn't even tell you when she won it and how long. And I presume it had to be Raw because this is her first time on like SmackDown on a SmackDown roster. Yeah. So I was like, oh wow, yeah. So I honestly wouldn't have been mad of anyone getting the briefcase of these women, unlike with some of the men's matches where I had particular few that I didn't want to win, especially the person who won it. Yeah. But yeah, I think all in all, this was a really good match. I was really into it. Like I said, anytime a show, especially WWE in particular, can get me to put down my phone and have me engaged like that, I feel like that's my level of a moniker if something's good or not.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to start out for a match. After that, though, it kind of might have went downhill for the next few matches since they're all like 2 minutes long. So the next match we're going to throw over to the Road Raider himself, which was the United States Championship match, which featured the reigning champion, Samoa Joe, against Rey Mysterio Jr. I've already introduced the match longer than I went for.
Yes, you already have. You hit that round the head because I turned around to talk to my mom for a minute or two, and the match was over. There was a senton. Joe was bloodied. That was a thing. And then they did some shtick with Dominic. That's about it.
Yeah, so, but also, Rey Mysterio hit a Hurricane Rana, I guess it was, and went for the pin. But Joe's shoulders were like 14.
They were way up.
He was actually holding onto the Money in the Bank briefcase for the men's match later on in the evening and getting pinned at the same time, which I don't know how that's possible.
Literally on a ladder while getting pinned.
Yes. But that was the first referee botch of the evening, and I was really upset about it.
That match made me so mad because I'm like, these two are great. They're veterans in the ring. They know like how to work a match. And I was like, why do you not let them go more than 3 minutes? Like, I understand, I can give them WrestleMania because Ray was sort of hurt and they didn't want to further an injury. I get that. But, like, I can't remember them going longer than 5 minutes on a match since these two have, like, been involved on the main roster with each other. But beyond, in a singles match. I think they've had, like, some triple threats and fatal four-ways that, of course, have gone longer than that. But still, I'm like, come on, man.
I wonder if it has to do with Samoa Joe's stamina. Welcome, Dub. Thank you for joining us. He says Samoa Joe choke. They wanted to show make time for the Lucha house party. No, maybe. I don't know. Like, it could be Samoa Joe's stamina when he's in a match with more than 2 people, then the focus is not always on him. I don't know. I don't know how long his match with AJ Styles were when he did that feud or not. I don't remember.
They were definitely longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't think it was longer than like 10 minutes maybe or 15 minutes. I doubt it. And I'm sure a lot of it was him on the ground or AJ on the ground and Samoa standing over him, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this thing, like the kind of ballooning back and forth, and how Dominic's gonna get involved. Maybe Dominic will be the new U.S. champion after Samoa Joe, I don't know, challenges him or something. And first probably Samoa will win it back, and then he'll challenge Dominic. Who knows? But I hear they're trying to get Dominic into the thing.
Yeah, he's been training. I don't really know what his skill set is. That's why I thought he was gonna get involved last night, so we can kind of showcase that he's like legitimately been in the ring and training and stuff. But no. We're just gonna have a controversial ending and then just leave.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you really want Dominic featured when the NXT guys who have actually, had a lot more training don't have time? Do you really want him highlighted?
Well, I think we had to highlight him. He could just punch Joe in the face or have Joe attack him, which would have made sense because Joe has kind of like been in his face for the last couple of weeks. So it would have made sense because if you guys were watching SmackDown, you would know that.
Well,
but I'm just saying,
if he would have done something, maybe he'll do it on SmackDown.
If he would just did something without looking helplessly like he was when he was like 12 years old back with Eddie Guerrero, it would have made sense. I was like, Dominic, you're a grown man training in the ring. You scared now? You scared now? Then go home. Go back home.
I'd be scared of Joe. Have you seen the size difference?
I don't blame him, but I'm like, dude. This man is whooping your dad's ass. If I saw someone whooping my mom's ass, I'm sorry. They might be bigger than me, but I'm getting involved. I'm not just gonna stand there looking helplessly on the ring.
Dub says that they should have a gimmick where Samoa Joe gets a hoverboard or an electric wheelchair, and Dominic and Slater said Dominic's been training with Lance Storm and his dad probably, meaning Rey Mysterio, not Lance Storm's dad. So I know we've been talking about this match a lot longer than actually gone. I don't know. It's basically just a filler match, I guess, for advancing storyline that will probably happen during SmackDown, because I guess they're on SmackDown or they're on Raw. I have no idea. Raw, I think they're on Raw maybe, because the IC title's on SmackDown. So I assume this is on Raw. I don't know. Who cares? Eventually, they're probably continue that story. But any more thoughts on this match before we go to the next one? Anybody?
U.S. title, everyone.
Yay.
All right, so I guess I'm covering the next match, which is the steel cage match between Miz and Shane. I did fall asleep during this match somewhat, but did wake up for the ending of it. So they came into the ring. I remember wake up for one part, seeing Shane crawl out of the door, but Miz pulling him back in. A lot of springboards where Shane kind of tried to use his speed or lack thereof compared to Miz to scuttle up the ring and the cage and all that. I didn't really see much of the match other than that, besides Shane finally jumping over and then Miz grabbing him. Because this is like a 10-minute match for a steel cage match, which is very, very short for a steel cage match. Shane grabs him and Miz grabs Shane as he dangles from the other side of the steel cage, and then Shane weasels his way out by taking his shirt off and slipping through his shirt and hitting the ground, and then getting the upper hand on Miz once again. So still your best in the world according to himself, Shane McMahon, as he beats the Miz. You guys have anything to add on to the match? Because I don't remember anything really spectacular happening in this match.
I was just hoping that Miz would win, but that didn't happen, so I don't care.
Didn't watch, didn't care.
Oh, yeah. Right. I had to tell you when it was over, didn't I? Yeah.
Wait. I don't know. After WWE broke him, who cares? Yeah. I love the Miz, but like this whole gimmick with him. I mean, this whole feud with Shane. It's stupid. I think this was actually voted for one of the best feuds we had last year, right, for our AfterMat award, and it didn't win. I don't think it garnered any votes either. But it was the most seen on the one of the four most seen on the ballot for feuds. But yeah, this was a stupid match. I mean, I stupid feud. The match at WrestleMania was actually pretty cool with the whole fighting outside the ring and all that, and like Shane just taking crazy insane bumps, which that's what he's done to do, right? And but you know, this has just got to end. Like,
that's why because I'm really thinking they're trying to extend this until the show that shall not be named coming up next month, because that's where it kind of started. So that's why I thought that Miz was gonna win, because that would make them one and one with each other, and then have the penultimate one at that show. But I guess I write better in my head than the WWE does at sometimes, so I don't know.
I think it'll probably end up being like a father in each corner match where they got to throw in like a towel instead of them submitting, kind of thing. I don't know. A la Bob Backlund and Bret Hart match kind of back in the day where they had their brother and whoever else was in the thing. That kind of thing where it's gonna be Vince in one corner and Mike in the other. I think it's what is his dad's name? George. Whatever his name is. That George Mizanin, I think it is, like in the corner. Too many things like that. But I can't talk about shit anymore. Yeah, it's disgusting. All right, so that's gonna bring us to the Cruiserweight Championship.
Wait, before we go on.
Yeah.
Before we go on, you know what else needs to end aside from that Shane rivalry?
Shane?
The cage match. Let's be realistic. We've had Hell in a Cell, we've had Elimination Chamber, we've had Falls Count Anywhere, we've had all these matches, and we still go back to this ancient, outdated cage match. It's never interesting. They end up escaping. They try to escape, and that's always silly looking. Or they'll try to go out the door. Can we just end the cage match? We've done bigger and better things. And how do you progress from Falls Count Anywhere to run out of a cage? Where's the progression here?
I mean, I think it's cool to climb over the cage, but yeah, they always have the same gimmick ending. It was cool back in the day when I first saw, like, I guess because they didn't have Elimination Chamber and all that kind of stuff. So when like Brett and Owen fought in the cage, like when Brett was trying to climb out and then Owen's about to jump out and then like he hits his head on the steel cage and Owen's dangling from his legs and Brett just jumps down. Those are like cool things to see like back in the day. But now like Tom said, so much more has changed since then.
And Vince doesn't like change much, so
yeah, that is true. All right, so going on to the next match, which was your Cruiserweight Championship featured on 205 Live, I guess it is, with your champion Tony Nese versus Daivari, one of the Daivaris. I don't know what his first name is. Sean Daivari, maybe?
It's actually Arya.
Okay.
Arya, how are you?
Daivari. I guess he's somewhat related to one of those Daivaris from back in the day.
Yes.
Go ahead, Delisha.
To be honest, they could have gone back to the regular scheduled programming and switch out the tag team match with this one, because I haven't really been watching 205 as much as I used to, because there's 14,000 hours of wrestling a day. So I wasn't really invested in Tony Nese versus Daivari. Although I don't know why I always get Daivari's theme music stuck in my head at the most randomest times. I don't know why. So I don't really know about the feud these two are having versus, I guess, just wanting the title. And I don't know, Tony Nese went from being this great heel to this baby face that I don't care about. He was better as a heel and he should have stayed that way, but I digress. So I don't even know where to start. I mean, it was a good match. They definitely were giving it their all because they made it to the main card, so they wanted to look good. But we did see the usual like cruiserweight style matches where we have Tony Nese hitting like this corkscrew like over the top.
Senton splash, I saw that.
Yeah, and then onto I think it was a 450 splash, and still not getting the fall. And then he was like also kicking out of like frog splashes and what is it called? The hammerlock from Daivari. And then I don't know, I do like it when he does that side flip when he's on the outside of the rope onto the floor. I think and then kicks him in the face. Something simple, but I like it. And then but it was kind of underwhelming, but like fine all the same because he just wins with a running knee into the corner, pinning Davari and retaining his titleship. But like I said, I didn't really care about this match, so I was on my phone. I think I might have been messaging you or Tom at the time. But like these two, while they did good, it was just okay versus some of these stellar matches we've had between like Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese or Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy and things like that. But I do understand that we are trying to shepherd in some new talent on a 205 to at least get the 5 remaining people who do watch to keep watching. But it was fine. It wasn't pay-per-view standard, but it was fine.
Yeah, Dub won a triple cage match. I'm reading the thing. Shane, cruiserweights are boring unless they're facing bigger guys. Rey Mysterio of his Big Show was hilarious. Like when he took the stretcher or the backboard and hit him against the turnbuckle, that was fantastic.
Good times.
Those were great times back in the day. But yeah, I mean, cruiserweight division was one of my favorite divisions in WCW. It's a shame to see where it's gone now. Even when WWE back in the day, when they first had like people like Taka Michinoku and all those guys doing that, was still pretty entertaining for cruiserweight. Not as entertaining as the WCW cruiserweight division. I think they called it the light heavyweight when it was in WWE at first. When it was back towards WWF. But I mean, yeah, it's always fun to watch these guys, and it's high five. But I guess I would have to know the story.
Their story?
Apparently, there is when you watch 205 Live.
Whoa.
Yeah, I will say like the guys on the roster is nothing against them. It just for these particular participants, I'm not really with it. They have come up a lot in the last year ever since Vince gave Triple H more control over that. Go figure. So that it's a little bit more good. There is actual story going on. I just didn't like this particular one that they were playing out this time, but it happens.
Yeah, and best use of cruiserweight dub says other times when Ray was thrown to the production trailer by like a dart by Kevin Nash. So they cruiserweight best use of cruiserweight is definitely Rey Mysterio, and all the times it's been thrown around. One positive note though is like this division, like there has been some great moments. Like I guess it's just the talent too, because back when we had Neville and Austin Aries, I think that we actually voted that the best match of one of the pay-per-view nights, saying like I think that was like the pre-show or maybe the opening match. We said that was the best match of the entire night. So like they do have some good matches. I guess it just depends on who it is and like how much build up and story. And I guess I know Austin Aries more from other companies, as well as knowing Neville too from NXT and him coming up in the WWE. That's why I knew them. These guys I don't really know because they're just thrown to 205 Live. I don't really see them until the pay-per-views or the pre-shows. So I mean, I'm sure they're tremendous talents. They have great thing. I guess I gotta get more invested in the story. Tom, any thoughts about this match before we move on?
Move along. Nothing to see here.
Okay, move along. Nothing to see here. All right. That's going to bring us to Deletion covering the next 3 matches, actually, which are basically 2 matches in one and then a little surprise add-on. So here we go. It features the what do they call her? The Becky 2 belts.
Yeah.
The Raw Women's Champion and the SmackDown Women's Champion. And her first match of the night was to defend her Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans, the fashion show mistress.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked that I was looking forward to this match because for like what feels like the past year, but may have only been a few months, of Lacey Evans just coming out and doing the absolute zero nothing of just a slight wave and go away. I was like so soured on her that I was like, can we just get her off television or something? But now post WrestleMania, they were building her up to be the protagonist to who I guess at the point would have been whoever was the women's champion, which turns out to be Becky Lynch this time, or Becky 2 belts, or the man. Coming out and actually doing some good heel work and some good promos back and forth with her and Becky. And so I'm just actually looking forward to this match for once, because like I didn't really care for Lacey Evans down on NXT, and they turned me against her when they brought her to the main roster. But now I was like, okay, I think we got something, especially after that brawl between her, Charlotte, and Becky last Monday. So we have, as usual, the crowd was on fire for Becky Lynch. I don't see that getting turned down anytime soon. So at the point we do see Lynch getting a lot of the offense, and I guess you could say she had like pent up frustration of always getting like blindsided by Lacey Owens these past couple of weeks for the build up for this match. But because she quickly got her into this armor trying to win this match quickly, but Lacey grabbed onto the rope really quickly, and then Evans went out for Lynch for her whatever leg they're using that she had an injury from, whether it's the left or the right, I never remember. But she went for that leg or that knee, and then tried to roll her up for the roller for a quick 3 count. But that didn't happen because the ref didn't see shoulders down or whatever. It was like kind of like the inverse of the Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio match, because Becky quickly counters that into a disarmer, and then tapping out Evans in like quick fashion. So apparently Evans isn't as strong as she likes to believe she is. She couldn't defeat the man. So we did have that, and then we think it's all over.
Well, before we get to that, so like you said, that was the second major botch by a referee tonight. That's this evening. The next one's going to come very soon, actually. Also,
now, Cal, shoulders are really hard to find. Have you seen the human body? It's so complicated. Who knows where shoulders are, whether they're off mats. They blend in so well. Lacey Evans is kind of pale, so it's really difficult to see whether shoulders are on mats. It's tough.
Little did you know, though, Tom, the referees, before they come out, they have to sing the song head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So that's why they have no excuse to not get it. In the chat, Big Time is saying Lacey's very good. I enjoyed her character in NXT. She has a big future coming ahead. I think the finish was good for the first match leading into the interference. It didn't damage any of the characters. So I mean, it did make Becky look strong, and Lacey. Eventually, you'll see what happens with her in a second. Hey, Rain, hey, what's going on? So that ended that, and then what happens right after that? We have Charlotte Flair come out, and she's going to mention this match too. But this is now the second half of the match. Oh, that's cool. The one image just changing the other half thing. Watch this. It's kind of cool. Here he goes. It's like one blonde to another blonde. Boom. That's all that changed. So great. All right. Anyway,
I can't tell the difference. I see nothing.
So the second half featured Becky, 2 belts, who's still the Raw Women's Champion and the current SmackDown Women's Champion, defending against Charlotte Flair now, because she was set to defend both belts in one evening. So take it away, Delisha.
Yeah, because apparently Charlotte makes the matches, and she's on the production team and does the rundown for everything, because she just told Becky, hey, we're doing our match now. I mean, I guess as a heel, it kind of makes sense because she just went through a match, and it's probably easier to get a win off it. But I'm like, we're like, oh, all right, I guess Charlotte is just like, yeah, matches now, instead of when presumably it in Becky's mind would have been later on. But we substitute another Southern belle for another Southern Legacy belle. So now we have the SmackDown Women's Championship being on the line, to which again Flair went after her immediately, and as usual when you have two superstars who have been in the ring thousands and thousands of times, everything is probably just works flawlessly. Maybe that's not the right word, but more fluid with these two than maybe you probably saw earlier between her and Lacey Evans, which I think that might have been their first match together. Anyway, this is like the 15,000th match between Becky and Charlotte. Charlotte tried to go for natural selection right away, but Becky was holding onto the ropes and slid out of the ring, to which Flair immediately tries to grab her back into the ring. And then with Evans, see, even now I'm doing it, Tom. with Becky being distracted, Charlotte distracting the ref. And we get Lacey Evans coming back and giving Becky Lynch the woman's right. To which Flair went over and get her down for a which Flair tried to take advantage of, but tried to get for what I really thought was a 3 count, but it was like 2.99 seconds. But she didn't counter that to the big boot to Lynch's face. That actually looked pretty good, actually, to win the match. And now SmackDown is your 19,000th time women's champion. But the two matches were pretty fine in and of itself. They were, I guess, totally they would equal one match of like almost 10 minutes, but they're probably like 3 to 5 minutes each. And then after that, we get the usual heel team up of the Southern Bells. I'm giving, oh man, WWE might take that and make them a tag team. Anyway, attacking Becky Lynch. What is and Charlotte was yelling like, "Is this what you want, baby girl?" or something like that. And then the crowd, and knowing what happened earlier, are shouting for Bayley to come out to, I guess, help her. And what she does after Becky takes a few good punches and attacks for like 2 minutes, then she finally comes out and almost gets her ass whooped too. So it almost didn't even work. But then you have Lacey Evans taken out, and then what did she do? Oh, and she like threw
Charlotte into a turnbuckle.
Yeah, into the turnbuckles, into the ring post, which like knocked her out. And then so now the crowd was like, "Oh, Charlotte's down. Bayley, go for the briefcase." And it took her about 5 minutes to even come to a decision, and tell the ref that she's going for it, to where she goes for the flying elbow drop off the top rope, and then now Bayley is now our SmackDown Tag Team Champion, her first ever SmackDown for Women's Champion. So see how that goes.
I know Tom's talking about the bit to get here, but I just want to say a few things before we get to Tom. Yeah, so first of all, I want to say that when Charlotte being like the strongest female in WWE history, like never loses matches ever cleanly, one-on-one, ever. They can like they landed the helicopter on her in WrestleMania. She still didn't get pinned, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like she fell into a turnbuckle. Referees fall into turnbuckles and get up a minute later. Charlotte was out for like 27 minutes, longer than the Rey Mysterio match she was out for, just hitting the turnbuckle, and she was out. That was ridiculous. Second of all, I was telling Tom right away, and like Corey Graves was echoing this, like, because Corey Graves probably saw the live feed from my brain and started spewing out what I was thinking, was that in the past, like, I know the whole thing about Money in the Bank is becoming opportunistic and cashing in whenever you want. But that's what Edge is. You know, Edge is, you know, Mr. Opportunistic. Like, he's always, you know, the radar superstar, the opportunistic Edge, as used to say. But when John Cena took that role, like, he won the next Money in the Bank or whatever it was, the third one that it was, because, you know, I think Mr. Kennedy won the second one, but then he lost to Edge, and then Edge became the second two-time Money in the Bank kind of thing, whatever it was. But John Cena won the next one and then challenged, I forgot who he challenged. Maybe it was like RVD or somebody. I don't actually, was it RVD? Yeah, it might have been RVD, straight up at One Night Stand. Like, ever since then, like, they pretty much had, like, honorable starts to Money in the Bank. So when you come in, the referee would check on the other, no matter if they're knocked out, they'd be like, get up. Are you ready to fight? Are you sure you're okay to go? And then the rest would be like, okay. And then, what if the wrestler's like, no, I'm not ready to go? Then you don't have to fight. You just walk out. So that's the thing about that rule, too. So does that even work? So, like, usually the referee checks on the other competitor and asks if they're okay to continue. Then the match starts. Because I remember, like, the shrill voice of Carmella going, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. Because she tried to cash in, but they're waiting for Charlotte to be okay after the Iconics attacked her. And the same thing happened with Nia. When Nia got hit by the briefcase by Alexa, they checked to see if Nia was okay before they started the match. So this time, the referee did just like, okay, ring the bell. Charlotte's still knocked out for 20 minutes. Hit your elbow, and that's it. So that's the third referee botch that I saw, and I was pretty upset about that. It wasn't consistent. And like, not that it's a solid rule written, but at least try to be consistent somewhat. Like Tom always thought it was like the way that Edge used to do it, and I agree with that way. I think you should be anytime, anywhere, no matter what. That's how I think it should be. Why change it and then now all of a sudden change it back on this? That's why it was. At least the consistency of the night was the referees' inconsistencies with the rules throughout the evening. So that's how I had to say about that. So go ahead, Tom, because I know you had a bunch. Oh, before that, we had a Shadow Diamond and Smokescreen and Rain and Minecraft King. What's going on? Welcome, everybody.
So did they ask Brock and Roman when Seth cashed in? Because I'm pretty sure if they actually did, they would have told him to piss off.
No. That was during the match.
Okay, so they need to clear up the rules because they clearly use this just to make Charlotte look even stronger. Like, I'm pretty sure Brock could have come out and F5'd her just to make sure she didn't look so weak. But yeah, this is a cop out. It's a cop out.
Seth cashed in during a match. All these other occasions were not even a match occurring or after a match has ended due to disqualification or anything of the sort.
What if Charlotte said no? What if
That's
she
what I'm
was?
saying. Charlotte said no.
What happens?
No. That's why I'm asking, why can't they be consistent about this cash in? If anyone in the chat has any ideas about this, because it has not been consistent with the rule. As soon as that happened, like I know Corey Grace said something, and I was thinking right away too. I'm like, why are they changing the rules of a sudden? Even though that's a rule, it's an unwritten rule, as you would say. So I was kind of upset about that. You know, I don't really care much for Charlotte, but I don't care much for Bayley. At least be consistent with the rule about the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I just thought it'd been better if like Charlotte staggered herself up, and then Bayley hit her with the belly to belly, then get off the top rope and do the elbow. At least that looks more believable. But Charlotte was laying there for about like a good 10 minutes. She had rest enough to put her shoulder up. So
maybe Ant-Man came out, gave her the F5 because Brock Lesnar was in the Ant-Man suit. So he was actually at the ring the whole time during the later in the evening that we'll talk about. But maybe he was in the Ant-Man suit. He hit the F5 on Charlotte, and that's why she was out.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, or have her go for a move, and then Charlotte kicks out, and then she does the belly to whatever it's called, and then like something else. But yeah,
it's a damn belly to belly. It's just a damn belly to belly.
Okay.
No,
I mean, it looks cool.
She does her ponytail first.
I mean, it looks cool. It would have been nice if they would have executed that during the cash-in, because that's actually a cool finisher. That's like 90% of the reason you give people the briefcase is because they have a cool finisher and can hit it almost out of nowhere, like that one. But they didn't. They do the stupid Macho Man elbow, which looks dumb.
Yeah. But congrats to Bayley. It's hopefully a revamp for us, or a soft reboot for Bayley to, because they weren't totally on her side at first, especially during her promo, I think last week. But they were cheering for her when she got the briefcase and then when she cashed it in. So hopefully that just keeps getting her momentum to, and hopefully she doesn't just lose it this Tuesday to Charlotte back or something like that. But yeah,
big time saying that this did set up two feuds, one for Raw and one for SmackDown respectively. But still, it's just the way it went down is kind of what we're upset about. Not about the fact that it's set up feuds, because we always talk about where it can go from there. And not to mention, I did all that. I remember the first day that big time tweeted about it. I say the opposite is going to happen, because I think big time said Becky's going to retain against Charlotte, but lose to Lacey. And I said the opposite is going to happen, which is basically what happened. But yeah, like it does set up feuds, but I just think the way it happens is rubbing us the wrong way, big time.
Pretty much.
Any thoughts about the actual match itself, Tom? Because I know you want to cover the match yourself. Any thoughts about the match, or did you cover it for what you said?
Yeah, I mean it was fine. It's your standard Becky Charlotte flair, except low because they had to rush it to have all that after crap. Can I go on a finisher rant again?
Yeah.
Can we stop using punches as finishers? Especially those who aren't good at punching.
Big Show makes sense.
Yes, because he could punch really hard. He could sell it. But Lacey Evans doesn't really punch very well, so it looks weird. It looks weird when like a normal person does I'm clearly pulling this.
It's actually funny because for the longest I thought it was her forearm, like one of the Bellas did. I thought I thought it was that, and then they were telling me it was a punch, and I was like, oh, okay. Because some of the camera angles, they'll like go to the other side of the person being punched or whatever, so you don't see the full like connection. But yeah, that's why I thought for the longest it was her forearm.
They should have a match where Carmella kicks and Lacey Evans punch at the same time, and their foot and their hand connects at the same time, and the ring just explodes like how when Big Show suplexed Brock Lesnar or whatever it was. Brock Lesnar suplexed Big Show. That should happen. That'd be hilarious. Because it's like the two worst moves ever in the division's history.
And then the triple threat of not connecting, Charlotte tries the moonsault at the same time.
Along with Kurt Angle at the same time from the other two corners. That'll be fantastic. We just ended WrestleMania 36 for the world now. Big time saying that, dude, she can throw a lot better. She's just nervous. Then maybe she was ready to be called up yet. I don't know. And Carmella is awful with her king. The universe would end if that all just happened at once. The universe would just it'll be like Thanos' snap right there. Thanos would snap, but nothing would happen because that's already happened first. But yeah, so I guess we're gonna have Tom cover the next match because I was gonna cover it, but I don't want to do too many matches in a row. So we'll have Tom cover this match because it's a solid match. It's one of his favorite competitors, featuring Roman Reigns going against Elias. And this match went for a long time, so I want you to cover it for a while, man.
I hate you so much.
Did you not see this match?
So we had some guitar bits in the back. Elias got a real good shot in on Roman, smashing the acoustic guitar, but debuted a really cool electric guitar, put on an excellent show for the ungrateful people of Connecticut. I forget the city, to be perfectly honest.
Hartford,
yes, that one. The one I know of. So he played an excellent concert for them. They were completely unappreciative, as per usual. And then some barbarian came out, and I kind of tuned out. Nothing happened. I assume Elias destroyed him. 1, 2, 3, and we all moved on, right? Right? This is all what happens. We all move on.
Exactly what happened. I watched everything.
So Big Time saying that too. He's like they could have put on the match of the night, but it's a modified squash because Roman came out. I think he just hit the spear. First, he hit the Superman punch as Elias was leaving. Then he hit the spear, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. It was a 10-second match. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, Elias is getting buried. We thought he was going to have a good run, especially after the last year's WrestleMania, not this past WrestleMania, but last year's WrestleMania with the John Cena thing that happened. And John Cena came through with this year again, too. So, but it was funny last year when John Cena thought he was going to fight Undertaker, but Elias came out with the music in the black. So that was kind of cool to see. And then this year he did fight, kind of had that moment with John Cena again. So that was, maybe we'll go for 3 years in a row with John Cena. This brings us to what could be possibly the match of the night. In my opinion, also the last match was pretty good too as well, but it featured the WWE Universal Champion against Seth Rollins against AJ Styles, which was a fantastic match. Exactly what we want to see. Like it's what I guess what a lot of other companies are boasting about great wrestling. This is what these two are great. I can say phenomenal wrestlers. AJ Styles being the phenomenal one. In my opinion, one of the best wrestlers ever. Just such great spots, and not only were the spots great, the counters of the spots were even better. So that, it thought it looked kind of sloppy at one point, but it actually came into a more realistic of someone like countering a difficult move into their own finisher kind of thing. So that we had no suicide dives to the outside by Seth Rollins. We had flying planches by AJ Styles. We had forearm shivers, stiff kicks, insiguris, knees, all that kind of stuff. Great holds in the beginning of the match with the reversals and such. Just great superior technical wrestling all throughout the match. And then some great spots were obviously a frog splash by Seth Rollins. So take notes, Sasha Banks. That is a frog splash. Your frog splash looks worse than Hornswoggle's tadpole splash. So if you guys remember what that looked like, Sasha Banks' frog splash looks worse than that, especially if that's supposed to be an homage to her mentor or whatever, her idol, Eddie Guerrero. That's not how you want to do it. Watch Seth Rollins do it. His look fantastic, much like the times of the 5-star of Rob Van Dam. So that was a great thing. The reverse Falcon Arrow with the reverse suplex into the reverse Falcon Arrow was crazy to see off the top rope. And then Rollins going for the curb stomp, but it was being reversed into a Styles clash. That was crazy. Tom's favorite move, the Styles clash, was used beautifully in a counter. And then I think the phenomenal forearm was reversed into a ripcord knee. It's just the reversals of the counters of the signature moves and great spots look beautiful. This match was just great overall, and ended with the phenomenal forearm being reversed into a ripcord knee, which I think it's called ripcord knee, and into a curb stomp and a 1, 2, 3, and Seth Rollins winner. They did actually have the handshake, and normally I don't like seeing the handshake after a match because I think it's kind of corny and cheesy. But they put on such a good match that I did not mind seeing that handshake at the end of the match. So that was great to see all that kind of stuff. So much wrestling. Big Time saying, "Let the hate flow through me." Hate makes me strong. This is by far the match of the month. He's going to say this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is at the end of the year on our ballot for match of the year. I'm going on to say right now, it's going to be at least on the ballot because this match was so good back, and that's what you expected from these two guys. So we're going to go to Alicia first. Alicia, your thoughts on this match, and then we'll go to Tom. So like I said, Seth Rollins retained his championship, but great match back and forth.
Yeah, it's pretty much went the way you would expect a Seth Rollins and AJ Styles match to go. While they're great technical wrestlers, they're also great high flying wrestlers. Like I feel like they're one of those few who can do it all. They can do the power moves, they can do the high flying, or they can do the high risk spots. They can do the technical just mat wrestling. So like whenever they're two veterans in the ring. Like Seth Rollins has been doing this for a while. AJ has been doing it for like the last 15, 20 years. So I feel like when you get these two talented folks in the ring with each other, you just know they're going to put on a good match. And honestly, I don't think AJ really puts on bad matches. Sometimes he doesn't have the best of chemistry with the person across the ring from him, but normally he's always putting in a good effort. So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match, and I didn't really mind the handshake at the end. Because I thought, well, it seemed like earlier the build up they were trying to skew AJ kind of heel ish, like ish, but I guess they're still sticking him through the face or keeping him on that tone line so that he can skew either way depending on what they need him to do.
Tom?
Boy, this is awkward. I was kind of tuning in and out during this match, so I didn't see a whole lot of it. There were some cool moves. I did see the finish. Curb stomp looked really cool. I assumed one of these guys was gonna take a hard heel turn with that handshake because that's kind of how it sometimes goes. That didn't happen, so I assume one of these guys is gonna turn a strong heel at some point because they're gonna want to keep doing these. This is one of those things that's gonna get better with age, and hopefully they don't do the whole one and done thing, which they've done a few times now.
See, I agree with you. I hope they don't do the one and done thing, but I don't want it to be like a feud at the moment because remember what happened with Shinsuke and AJ. We want to see that for the longest time with two great wrestlers, and you saw what happened there, where we didn't have the low blow and all that kind of stuff, and that kind of made things look kind of bad, and like that feud just kept going, and there's like no, Shinsuke just kept losing and losing there's no point to that feud, and I feel like if they fought again, it would happen later down the line, and it would just be one of those like matches, like those key matchups they have like at a SummerSlam or something like not like every pay per view, not for the next 4 pay per views. I want to see it at like SummerSlam again or Survivor Series or Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, that kind of thing. That's what I want to see. I want to see them fight again, but not like I don't want to see the whole Shinsuke AJ Styles thing happen again.
Well, here's the thing with the whole Shinsuke AJ that would make this one different. AJ and Seth can both carry promos, which is real important if you're going to do a long-term feud. Now, they don't have to fight at every pay-per-view, but as long as AJ keeps hanging around and maybe he gets screwed on a number 1 contenders match or something, he gets screwed by Corbin or McIntyre, and there's some filler match between this and whatever next big pay-per-view there is. But as long as these two are together and one of them gets to the point where they are the antagonist, they can keep going with this without having a match every pay-per-view,
Right. No, I agree with that. Like kind of like the villain looming in the background of a series, and then they show up once in a while, kind of thing. Yeah, I do agree with that. Like I said, I don't want to see like the whole Shinsuke thing where Big Time chimes in and goes, "Shinsuke, who is that exactly?" Who's going to be the heel? That's what he's asking because they're both mega over. The thing is, even as heels, Big Time, they'll both be over as well, I think. So it's not a problem. They're both going to be over regardless of what position they're in. And Arrington, welcome. How are you? Yeah, so I guess that wouldn't really matter. Like I think both of them as heels would even show over too. Any final thoughts from anybody before we move on to the next match?
No.
All right, so our next match features the WWE Championship, which your reigning champion is Kofi Kingston against Kevin Owens. So, Alicia, I think you're taking this one?
Yeah. I was actually really looking forward to this match too because, as we all know, KO is like the greatest mic talkers out there, especially when he's doing his heelish things. Because we did see him for like a week or two aligning himself with the New Day as like an honorary member because Big E was out, and that was like fun and entertaining. But we all know what we want from Kevin Owens, and that's a heel because he's just great. But we did get that shorter than I actually thought we were going to where he turned on Kofi and beat up Xavier. and which sparked this feud to begin with, and it was just good, great. Because as we know, KO, he talk about getting in shape. The last year or so that he was in rehab, he was really getting himself in shape. He's looking good because they were both doing like some high flying moves in the ring, to where we had Owens doing like a senton in the ring, and then doing another frog splash done correctly in the ring, along the apron on the ring, like the ringside area. And then we have Kingston in return, doing like a double stomp on the ring apron, that which sorry. And then later on, we're seeing KO counteracts some of Kofi's like high flying stuff with like a super kick, and then but after that, Kofi hits like the SOS that gets a near count for off Owens, and then Owens in turn later on almost makes him tap when he converted the Trouble in Paradise into a Boston Crab. So again, like these men like just putting in work and doing like great matches, or great moves throughout the match. And then um, it was Owens' turn to get an almost 3 count when he hit Kofi with the pop-up powerbomb, and then later on Kofi counters that into not counters that, but he counters a stunner with another Trouble in Paradise, which then knocked Owens out the ring. And then once they finally get back into the ring, Owens go for another stunner, but Kingston grabbed the rope to break the count, so it could have ended there, but it didn't, which I'm kind of glad for. And then in frustration, he takes off Kofi's shoes. I don't know why. It's not like they gave him superpowers or anything, but and he just takes off his shoes. I don't know if he threw them in the crowd or just onto the floor outside the ring. But he then tried to do I think it was the little somersault something he does in the ring corner. But Kofi got up on his knees and then hit him with the Trouble in Paradise to get the pin. And Kofi is still our SmackDown champion, and which I think is a good thing. Oh, someone's trying to fact check me as he makes his return in the background. Anyway, no, but I do think it's good that Kofi still gets to remain champion, and putting on another great showing, as I guess you can call this like the SmackDown or the championship main event, right? Because we have the Money in the Bank after this, right? Or well, as an actual like match, that is. And then but Owens still showing because he put up a great fight, and we know this is not going to be the last of him, for sure, because he does still have some unfinished business with Xavier as well. So it'd be kind of cool to see them like continue on. Maybe not into the next pay-per-view, but somewhat in the background, Kevin Owens is lurking.
That was another stipulation. Like I think Xavier said he wouldn't come out and help him out. It would be a one-man thing where Kofi goes in by himself. I do remember seeing that backstage. The chat big time is saying this is a very sloppy match. However, he does agree that he needs to be the heel on SmackDown. He being Kevin Owens, he's the best suited for it. And welcome Chaotic Sway. Chaotic Sway, big time. Owens got SOS was welcome to submission. Will Firefox is saying that KO is better as a heel. He can be the top heel at WWE, but can't constantly make him lose. Well, WDQ's after Owens finished with Kofi, have him beat Mysterio for the U.S. title. I don't know if he could be. I don't know if he needs to be the U.S. champion again. I think his gimmick with the U.S. championship, I think was great. I think he needs to be a top tier heel. However, I don't think he should win the title yet. I think he's going to be like that lingering factor in the background in Kofi's window. But yeah, the whole that what's the last move called? The Trouble in Paradise. That looks so cleanly hit on, and the way Kevin Owens at the end of the match is great without the shoes and all that. And when he threw the shoes, I think he actually almost hit like Corey Graves or whoever sits on the ringside, the announcing team. So that was funny to see. Your thoughts, Tom, on this match, if you have any?
Kofi's still champion. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, they did put on a good match. I didn't think this match was going to be that great, especially with Kevin Owens just coming back and all, but he did put on a good match, so it was entertaining. I love Kofi, and not having Xavier out there was great to see, too. Kofi doing his own thing.
Yeah, I want a fight anyone shirt from by KO, but I'm afraid to wear it in the street because I don't want anyone to actually challenge me on that.
Yeah, but then you just take off their shoes and you'll be all right. You run. All right. That brings us to our final match of the evening, which is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which features Cien Andrade Almas, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, the Intercontinental Champion, Finn Balor, the member right behind me, we'll get to in a second, Baron Corbin, Ali, not Saf Ali, and as soon as she can't even stand hearing his name, Felicia had to step off screen because I was going to mention Randy Orton, the Viper himself. Finally, Sami Zayn weaseled his way into the match after beating Braun Strowman, I think, on Raw a few weeks ago, or at least this past week, possibly, with the help of Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre. He took Braun Strowman's spot, so Sami Zayn was inserted into the match. However, during the course of the evening, Sami Zayn was strung up by his feet onto the fencing or the cage around the arena or the rafters, whatever you want to call it, in the arena, in the backstage area. And Braun Strowman was blamed for it by Triple H, and so that took Sami Zayn out of the match, and took Braun Strowman out of the match because he was kicked out of the building because he was believed to be the culprit, which we might find out that he wasn't in a little while from Tom. So it led us to believe that the match is going to be a 7-man match for the Money in the Bank. So take it away, Tom.
All right, so as you eloquently put it, this went from an 8-man to a 7-man match. So this was, as you can tell by all these participants, going to end up being a pretty fantastic match. Orton went on a tear early on, taking out Ali, Ricochet, Balor, etc. on the outside. Immediately tried to get the ladder in, try to get up it. That obviously didn't work out. Ricochet and Ali both got a couple opportunities later on to get their chance at it. Corbin and McIntyre teamed up and started tearing through some of the participants midway through the match until Orton finally put a stop to that and dropped Corbin with the vintage Orton. Until McIntyre went across the ring with Big Claymore. It's going to be a theme going all the way through. There were some really cool spots by Andrade. He set up a ladder, met by Balor. Delivered a sunset flip, I believe, at some point within this thing. So he got a bunch of really cool spots.
Sunset flip powerbomb onto a ladder.
That one, yes.
On what's his face? Finn Balor. Not to mention Finn Balor's spine. They got to look at the spine after this match because he took a lot of.
This isn't the first time he's done that either, isn't it? I'm pretty sure he's gotten that once before.
This match you're talking about in his career?
In his career. I'm pretty sure Balor takes way too many for his size.
Yeah, he had a match like that with Samoa Joe in NXT, from what I remember. But yeah, like he took like 3 this match alone. So they definitely got to check out his spot. Sorry about that. So yeah, because that was such a great spot when I mentioned the 2 participants in that spot.
Yep. So again, McIntyre and Corbin teamed up most of the way through the match until later on when McIntyre betrayed him, hitting a big Claymore on him. So Balor started to make his way up on, try to get his opportunity to almost get the the briefcase. Obviously, that did not work again. So we skip to the very finish where Ali looked like he was going to win the match. Everybody getting all happy, feeling good about themselves. Well, too bad, because here comes the pain. Lesnar comes down. I guess he was the guy that attacked Zayn. They didn't actually confirm that. I'm pretty sure he probably just walked in there at that exact moment in his trunks, walked up, knocked Ali off the ladder, which, by the way, I've heard actually busted Ali open pretty bad when Lesnar kicked the ladder as he was doing that. But they weren't allowed to show it. Lesnar climbs up and somehow, even though he technically wasn't in the match, is now the Money in the Bank winner, which I will say I've been very critical on Lesnar lately, but this is possibly the best use of him possible. this is going to be fun.
Yeah, so what I want to say about this is Big Time nailed it. Because I remember texting either you or Delisha about, when this happened. It hadn't been Delisha, because I think it was this morning when I got to get to watch this, because I think I went to bed right after the Game of Thrones finale. Because the last match I watched was when Bailey beat Charlotte Flair, and then I went to go watch the Game of Thrones finale, and I missed the rest of this, and I watched the rest of it this morning around like 6 a.m. or something. I remember texting Delisha, I think, and saying, I'm like, why didn't Ali grab his music went off and he just like looked at like the ramp, like, you're like 2 feet away from it, no one's bothering you, grab the briefcase. To which Big Time says the real MVP of this match was Brock Lesnar's music.
Have you heard that music?
It froze
like,
Ali
done,
for 30 seconds.
Done.
Yeah, I know. Like,
think of all that bass. All that bass was knocking him off the ladder.
Yeah, it shook the ladder and it sent reverberations through his nervous system and he couldn't move. Big Time says that he retired from the UFC, so he might get his wish, because Wilson's the only one who accept Lesnar's Money in the Bank is if he's on every run, every pay-per-view. I don't know if that would happen, but Heyman's an absolute legend on the mic. I do agree with that. I said, so according to this, like there's a discussion, I think, I finally went back, because when I woke up this morning, I had like 20 notifications on Twitter. I didn't want to look at my Twitter last time because of Game of Thrones and because of Money in the Bank. I wanted to talk about Game of Thrones on Twitter right before I went to bed, but I couldn't, because if I went to it, I knew I might see Money in the Bank stuff, so I didn't go to it. So when I woke up, I had like 20 notifications, like from Big Time, I think Will, Sidewalk, all those guys. We talk about wrestling and stuff on Twitter, and I finally got to answer them this morning. And I was like, so then Will pointed out, I think that I don't know if this is true or not, but at the Super Showdown, Brock Lesnar has a rematch clause with Seth Rollins. So I was saying, what if he beats Seth Rollins for the Universal title, right? That's his title, right? And then cashes in on Kofi Kingston and wins that title, has both titles, and just never shows up. I think that'd be awesome for the WWE, because that's like old school wrestling. No, there's one match every 4 pay-per-views for the championship. That'd be so great. I think that'd be so hilarious if they did that, because I just love Brock Lesnar not showing up for matches, and it's just so funny. And like, if you do that with both belts and have both belts, I would love to see that.
No,
that would completely make Becky look so much stronger, because Becky would be like, like, I defended the same night I defended both titles. Like, I'm always defending whenever I can. And Brock Lesnar's like, so. And he's like walks out, like he'll never show up with like the belts, and like he'll be like in a hot tub, and like one belt would be on one side of the hot tub, the other side of the hot tub. He's just in there drinking his beer, and just like, that'd be hilarious. I think that'd be great. But
not
yeah,
gonna lie, I'm an evil bastard, and I definitely want to see him cash in on Kofi, because if Kofi is going to lose, he might as well lose with the maximum heat possible. And how can you get any more heat than Lesnar getting up off his couch and going and taking out the most popular guy on the roster right now?
Yeah, I would agree with that, to definitely get him more heat. It would actually be similar to CM Punk cashing in on Jeff Hardy, like to get that absolute crowd heat. So that would be, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't want Kofi to lose, but like if he had to, that would be a good way to do it.
Hate to break it to you, he's gonna lose eventually.
Big Time
I know
that might happen. It's like, don't put it into the universe. And we all know the WWE watches this show, because stuff that I've been saying has been happening. And they're so strong into my social media that they look at my text to Delisha and Nicole and all that about our After Talk show. And they took a match from my dream card, and they're making it somewhat on the Super Show. It's not the exact match, but what I build my match as for the dream card, they're use that billing term as their match. And I'm so upset about that. So upset.
I was about 5 seconds ago, and you ruined it, Cal.
What?
You ruined it by mentioning the match that shall not be named.
Oh, well. Oh, what's up, Otero? Lesnar's huge reserve. No, man. Otero, that's so great to see. Welcome, Otero. I think it's hilarious. Like, I think it's just so funny. I think it's so funny. Like, I hope that he beats Seth Rollins at Super Showdown, and then catches on Kofi and beats Kofi too. I love Kofi, just because it'd be hilarious and people would be so mad. That'd be so mad. That'd be so funny to watch the universe in an uproar. And then the Indian stable will come in and solve everyone's problems, because that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I do agree. What Big Time saying, Lesnar is like the biggest draw that WWE has. People pop for him no matter what. Even if they hate him, they like when you hear that music go off, like people go crazy. Like they remember they're booing him at WrestleMania, like no, hey, goodbye. But then as soon as his music hit on Sunday, last night, people went crazy for him. So like I'm telling you,
just like Daniel Bryan says, fickle crowd.
Yeah, but nobody cares what Daniel Bryan says.
No, you don't care. With the rest of us,
nobody cares. Nobody cares about Daniel Bryan. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. He should forever be banned from this show. There'll be a black square on the whenever there's a match with a black. You know how they put those like mystery and a mystery opponent, like it's like Randy Orton and a mystery opponent. It's that black silhouette. That'll be Daniel Bryan from now on this show.
Bro, have some production quality. Blur it.
I thought, yeah, but yeah. Otara said I'd rather see Jinder hold. I'm telling you, man, Jinder might hold the belt. The Indian stable's coming back. I just saw those two people on the Worlds Collide pay-per-view, and then we got the Singh brothers coming back, and me and the great Khali. We got the greatest Indian stable coming in the future. You guys wait. But I don't know. So any last thoughts on the men's Money in the Bank, and before we wrap it up with our finishing moves?
It was fine.
Was it obvious that I didn't actually watch the match?
No, I mean, like it was good. I think it was good. I mean, you're a big Lesnar fan, so I think you should have enjoyed that for the most part.
I did watch and enjoy the end. That did make me smile for the first time in a while.
So there you go. You're welcome. Courtesy of me and my love for Brock Lesnar, you guys are all welcome for that. Notice how I don't like Daniel Bryan, and he went from being in the main event at WrestleMania sort of to pre-show. Brock Lesnar, who I love, went from being the first match, had to be forced to be the first match because he didn't want to wait around all evening, to winning the Money in the Bank. You're welcome, people. You're welcome. All right, so with that said, we're going to start with Tom and give us your low point, your high point, and your overall grade.
Sorry about that. I was saying something funny. So, high point, I would say Lesnar winning. That was hilarious, as you've said. It was an awesome moment. The music hitting was fantastic, and just the look on Lesnar's face was gold. As if that smug satisfaction. It was fantastic. Low point, the stuff that apparently happened with Elias. I don't believe any of that actually happened, but that if it did happen, which it didn't, that'd be the low point. Overall grade, honestly, I just didn't care. None of these stories gripped me at all. So it's getting a hawk. The only thing that saves it from an F is Lesnar. So it gets a D.
All right. We're going to go to Alicia. I don't know, is Joe participating for this or no?
Are you participating?
Sure.
He said sure.
So the man from the rafters, our very own fact checker, making his return to the AfterMat. Welcome back, Joe. How are you?
Of course, it's a briefcase of gold for a contract that brings him back.
So your low point, your high point, and your overall grade. You know the deal. Free finisher.
I'd say my high point will be the Seth Rollins AJ Styles match. My low point will probably be Brock Lesnar winning the Money in the Bank because it takes away from somebody like Drew Galloway who really kind of deserves that kind of push. And overall grade for the pay-per-view, I give it a C, middle of the road. Had its good parts, had its bad parts.
All right. It's good to see you again. And Delisha.
My high point is going to be I'm just going to lump in all the championship matches because I think they were all pretty solid. I think they all put on the best performance that they could in that instance with what they were giving in the time frame because this is the Money in the Bank championship, so that's what we really all came to see. And I actually couldn't remember. I should have made Joe look it up. How many times the Money in the Bank show actually ended the show, because I feel like it's not really consistent that the stipulation match doesn't end the actual pay-per-view. So I kind of give it a thumbs up for that. My low point, something that we didn't talk about, was the racist oaf Lars beating up the Hispanic men. So that's gonna be my low point of the evening. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even remember that. I'm sorry, I forgot about that because I actually went to the bathroom and I came back and I just saw Lars, whatever his name, Gene Snitsky clone. The Gene Snitsky clone was bleeding on his forehead.
It wasn't his fault.
Is that his thing? Is that his gimmick?
Snitsky's.
Oh, that's Gene Snitsky's thing, right? It's like baby abortion or whatever, which is like a heated topic now too.
Oh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So-
my overall grade, I think I'm gonna go with probably like a C plus. Like I said, the overall championship matches were great. I feel like the Money in the Bank matches were solid, and just a few storyline issues that I didn't particularly like. But overall, I did enjoy the pay-per-view. So yeah, I think it's solid C plus.
All right. Before I get to mine, I know earlier in this evening I said I'd get to it. Big Time gave this good review a 3 out of 10, so that's like an F, I would assume, an F minus maybe. I don't know. That it's not as bad as that Fastlane. I'll tell you that. That Fastlane that I gave an F to, it wasn't as bad as that. But yeah, he's entitled to his opinion. 3 out of 10. That's what Big Time says for this pay-per-view. As for me, my low point of the evening was probably the botches by the referees. That was just uncalled for. They're just really bad, especially the Samoa Joe one. The Samoa Joe, because I mean, the thing about Lacey Evans, I can get over. He's like actually really doing his job to check both shoulders. That makes sense, but there's still a botch to cause more time. The Charlotte Flair thing was just stupid overall because I don't really care about either of the wrestlers, and the fact that she was knocked out from a turnbuckle for like 78 minutes is kind of stupid. So that I can like I don't even care about. So I'm indifferent about that. So one I can let slide. One I'm indifferent about. But the one inexcusable thing about a guy who I don't even care won or lost that match, but his shoulders, like I said, he was basically hanging from the briefcase and the Money in the Bank briefcase while being pinned. His shoulders are so off the mat, like it was so ridiculous. Like it was like Shawn Michaels coming down from WrestleMania on the zip line. That's how far off the mat his shoulders were. And the referee's on that side counting it. So it's not like he couldn't see it. So that's the one low point for me, like the referee botches. The high point for me is definitely the AJ Seth Rollins match. I can't stress enough how good that match was, as well as the great spots we saw with the ladder, especially Finn Balor, Andrade, and in the Money in the Bank, men's Money in the Bank match, and obviously Naomi too in the women's Money in the Bank, how clean she was. Those are great spots, but definitely the men's Universal Championship match, that was so great. One thing I wanted to mention I didn't mention earlier was that Ricochet didn't do as cool as things I thought he'd do in a ladder match. Maybe because it was his first year, I don't know, but I'm very disappointed in Ricochet because I don't think he did as cool things as he would like. Andrade is not known as a high flyer like to the level of Ricochet is, and he did cooler things than Ricochet in that match when it comes to high flying stuff. So I have to give a knock on Ricochet for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view match actually itself for not doing his cool things. Overall great. I'm going to give it a B minus. I think it was great, especially because Lesnar came back at the end and won, and I found that hilarious. That was a great way to end it. So it kind of went up, and yeah, I mean that was just great. So I just get a B minus. So I really thought it was a fun show. With that said, though, we're going to go and do our normal wrap-up as well. We're going to start with our road raider himself. Tom, where can we find you? And if you have anything coming up, let us know.
You can find me on Twitter at RoadRaider3. I actually do have a couple podcasts in the works, some new things. So stay tuned on Twitter for more on that. It's coming in the next month. So just follow me there for more information.
All right. And at RoadRaider3 on Twitter. Does Joe want to do anything for his plug?
He went back into the rafters. I think he has to fix his face paint.
Okay. It's just extremely complicated email address with 74 letters after it. I think I see Shadow. Is he there?
Yeah, he's there.
764-59873. Just a lottery number. That's the whole joke. You guys don't know. It's this next lottery number. So the next time the Powerball is big, just play Joe's email address, and you will. Make sure you speak some of that with me because I'm telling you guys the secret behind it. Go ahead, Joe.
No, he was called off guard. Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DeliciaRenee. And then you can also find me on After Talk, where we just have a more longer range discussion on what we love talking about the most is wrestling. And of course, you catch me here after pay-per-view with Cal. And then I guess with the return of Joe, we can bring it back. I keep challenging you guys. I guess maybe there's too many Joe Butlers because you can't find them on Facebook. He's one of the few gingers named Joe Butler that I see. I don't know.
It's the most handsome one.
Yeah. So guys, try to friend request him, screenshot it, send it to me or Kyle, and we might give you something. You never know. You won't know until you try, guys. So I really want this to be a thing. I want him to get like 10,000 friend requests from random people he don't know.
As if I don't already get.
One day we're gonna pop up his Facebook status on the screen. I'll just have it pop up on the screen but yeah. And also what's the episode coming up for After Talk, and when is it coming up?
Oh yeah, we are going to be doing our own WrestleMania Dream Card. As you know, that we do like predicting our own matches on how we wish things would have gone, or maybe some matches that in the past we wish we could have seen. So we're just you know what? We're just gonna do this thing and just book it ourselves. Go like Thanos and fine, we'll do it ourselves and book our own WrestleMania Dream Card. I believe we're going to do that. I think it's July 22nd.
Yeah, we're gonna have to run that by the poll, but we're tentatively saying July 22nd.
Yeah, so stay tuned to our Twitters for the actual date, but we are calling it a Midsummer Dream Card because it's the middle of the summer. As I guess you could say we're gearing up for SummerSlam, which is one of the biggest pay-per-views after Mania. So in a way, it's fitting.
So that's going to be a Midsummer Night's Dream Card in July 22nd, we're thinking. And so I think we talked about it's going to be 2 pre-show matches and 4 or 5 main card matches, something like that. So stay tuned for that.
Not 17. Not 17 matches.
Yeah, not 17. It's not like WrestleMania, like we WrestleMania. As for me, I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal. I almost called one of my other nicknames for the other show because that's in session 2. So you can always find me on Twitter at KingslayerNet and over here on the Kingslayer Network on YouTube and Twitch. I'm currently taking a hiatus from streaming because I have a new game set coming out in June. But I am doing a few collabs with other people for the rest of May. But Wednesday, the next 2 Wednesdays, you can find me at 9 p.m. Eastern right here alongside our channel talking about Game of Thrones. So we'll be talking this Wednesday about the final episode, The Iron Throne, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then next week after that, we'll be doing a look back at the entire series as a whole on the 29th of May. As for collaborations on the gaming side, we have on the 26th, and every Thursday I'm going to be doing Marvel Ultimate Alliance with Halo_Smythe, but she's away on vacation in the Bahamas this week. So we'll be doing a double dose next week on Sunday afternoon or Sunday early evening, and then Thursday again. So Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern on the May 26th, and then on May 30th, we'll be going back to our 9 p.m. slot for every Thursday. Then starting in June, I'll have my normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule of streaming, a brand new game. You should come by and check out what it is. But I guess until then, thank you guys for joining us for the season premiere of AfterMat. And we'll be back next time. We'll see us will be, I guess, June 24th after Stomping Grounds. No longer Great Balls of Fire. So Stomping Grounds will be replacing Great Balls of Fire. Thank God.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh boy, they took a bad name and somehow made it worse.
Stomping Grounds is definitely better than Great Balls of Fire.
It is not. Great Balls of Fire is much better.
Next pay-per-view is Super Showdown. At least that's what they're saying.
Hey, that is the pay-per-view that shall not be named in this podcast, in this house, at all.
We do name it, but we don't cover it. Sometimes if they want us to just cover it, I'll mention it.
Oh yeah, I guess we should say that we're not covering that pay-per-view, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
In protest, we don't cover it. Mainly in my protest because I'm not going to watch it.
Thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, keep reaching for your goals and be the champion of your dreams. See you later.
Night.
Hold me close. close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.